great leaders of ASEC, which I'm sure she will talk to you about. She's going to be discussing university campuses. She's got a great career, great life ahead of her, and she's one of Adelaide's own, in fact, Port Lincoln's own, Jemma Schilling.
Thanks, Jen. Alright, I'm going to jump straight into it when the slide goes up. Yep. So it's arguable that there's not a strong university campus culture in South Australia. When I actually moved to Adelaide from the country, Port Lincoln, I started at UniSA. The reality was a little different from what I'd seen in movies, and I barely spent any time on campus. It's when I went to university in France for a semester that I got a feel for what it could be like. Back in Adelaide, I was a little depressed at the thought of not having the same culture and love for the university that I had overseas. Enter ASEC. For those who don't know, ASEC is the world's largest student-run organisation. We are a platform for personal growth, professional development and international exchange. And with 65,000 current members globally and an alumni network of over 80,000, the internal culture within the organisation is something to behold. Through my role as Sales Director of ASEC in the last year, I've gotten to work and study at all 3 universities in South Australia simultaneously, and have been privileged to have a unique view of all the 3 campus cultures, how the location, facilities and priorities of the universities have filtered down to influence each individual uni's culture. If we have a look at UniSA, which is where I'm currently finishing off my Bachelor of International Business, you have 5 campuses spread across the city, the suburbs and even in Whyalla. UniSA, or Super TAFE, as my Adelaide Uni friends like to say, has a really diverse feel across all campuses. City West is the alpha male of the group, with soaring buildings, crazy lines and a mashup of brick and glass. It's an urban jungle in the heart of the city. Location is key, and while still being central to everything, City West sometimes feels a little left out from all the East Side City activities, and yes, I do have memes. The City West campus has the latest in all things technology. The elevator that talks to you is kind of freaky, but this makes for a very efficient and organised environment. Whilst I love UniSA, my first thought whenever I walk into the campus is sterile, cold and intimidating. In terms of campus culture, UniSA has its peaks and troughs. Around open day and orientation week every year, the vibe there is incredible, and you feel like you're standing next to the next Einstein or Branson. Come mid-semester though, the campus is bare. With minimal eating spots and no green grass line in summer, students tend to hang out around Rundle Mall, or the east side anyway, and the only people left are the crammers who have left their assignments at the last minute and are asleep at their computers. The other UniSA campuses have a bit more of a relaxed feel to them, and it's interesting to note that the division of the degrees between campuses, for example, business students at City West, engineering students at Mawson, art students at McGill, and health sciences at City East. This is a dramatic effect on the feel and community of each campus, and having been to all of them, I'd have to say McGill has it the best. They've got the best coffee, they're surrounded by grass and trees and creeks, they have heritage buildings and that community feel. It's just a shame it's located in the middle of Dingo Wook Wook and hasn't got a decent bar. The spread of UniSA campuses means that there's a different vibe to each one, but collectively they spell innovation, practical experience and fast tracking of everything. Moving on to Uni of Adelaide, I've always wondered what it'd be like to go there, as my parents met there and graduated together, and it's always seemed like the reliable university. Whenever I'm on campus, the first thought that comes to mind is prestige. The history behind the buildings and the way they've been kept in beautiful condition makes you think of all the people that have passed through those halls, sat on the Bar Smith lawns and failed the same stats test as you. The unique mix of sandstone buildings and edgy see-through coloured glass staircases shows that Adelaide Uni has been able to preserve their legacy while still keeping up with the new generations. In particular, the establishment of the new learning hub in the middle of the grounds has brought to life the life back to university. Open 24 hours a day, students are able to escape reality and enter a world of revision, last-minute submissions and energy drinks. Whilst kind of looking like a bare airport hangar when empty, the hub has instilled the culture into the everyday hardships of being a student, and clubs and organisations have utilised this space. There is no doubt that Adelaide University has prime location, right between North Terrace and the Torrens River. The foot traffic alone through the campus brings with it a sense of excitement and involvement. There have been many people that have stopped in awe of the mystery and intrigue of the buildings and silently wished that they could have studied there. Trent, for example. And the fact that the State Library and Art Gallery are right next to the grounds shows what honourable company Adelaide Uni keeps. The feel of the campus is really filtered down onto the students, with the theoretical nature of courses, meaning many a coffee meeting to discuss a lit review, as opposed to UniSA's practical focus, which means that no one's actually there because they're working 40 hours a week as well. Adelaide University has made their timetables contact heavy and therefore consistently have students around campus, creating that inspiring vibe. Flinders Uni. Not as pretty and slightly awkward sister of the city dynamos that are UniSA and Adelaide Uni. Being a country girl, the majority of my high school friends actually went to Flinders University and always complained about the steep hill climbs and the constant discovery of duck poop on their textbooks. Flinders has that country feel, and now going there with ISEC at least once a week, I can say I find it completely refreshing. People walk a little bit slower in Flinders, everyone's a little more chilled, and you can escape the city's stress for at least a little bit. The campus is sprawling and comfortable and large. The subway always has a lineup that leads out the door, and the coffee is something to be advised against. Because classes run from 9 to 5, the campus is really busy around the middle of the day, but dies off exactly at 5. Even the bar shuts down, which is tragic. Flinders is encompassing of all clubs and student groups, and that support network is felt all around the campus. One thing Flinders is known for is its lack of car parks. Although there are over 1,000, Flinders students haven't grasped the concept of public transport, and there's a constant circle of cars trying to predict whether you're walking to your car or just walking past cars. The best thing about Flinders is the sense of community that you experience as soon as you step foot on campus, and it kind of weirdly feels like coming home. This may explain why Flinders students are so relaxed and at ease, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they walked up in their PJs to class. With the addition of some modern facilities and the pressure of having to compete with the city universities, Flinders has done well to carve out a niche and stay true to their values and their students. While students there are probably more likely to go to bed at 8 p.m. and get up at 5 to feed the chooks, there's no denying that the bonds created while studying there are genuine and lifelong. The only downside of having that country vibe is that Flinders students tend to miss out on a lot of the city nightlife due to the commute. With my involvement in ISEC, I've had my faith in campus culture restored, as although it may not be the sorority craziness that is America and Europe, there's that undeniable love and pride for our individual universities and the identities we forged through our time there. There's no doubt that the physical elements of the universities do dramatically affect the vibe, but at the end of the day, it's the people and the connections that make a university experience. I feel incredibly lucky to have a presence at all 3 universities in South Australia, and actually feel like I'm a student at all of them. Whilst I may be a UniSA student, like everyone else in ISEC, I'm a South Australian, and that's what I will take with me in whatever I do in the future. Thank you guys.
Awesome, thanks Gemma. And awesome note discard. I'm one of the best. It's just cool. Excellent. Okay, next. Andrew Lee and his crew, bunch of amazing guys. You would have seen in Perry Street this thing called Parking Day, where we took over the space and gave alternate use. These guys actually won the President's Award for that day. So here's Andrew Lee and his hangers-on. Oh, you'll have to deal with that.